And the question is, what is the expectation of time investment for your different levels of lift? And so I believe that's a question for Nathan, talking about that column that he added. Nathan, do you want to share some thoughts on that one?
Sure. So the amount of time that we kind of budgeted was about an hour or so for between 10 and 15 cards. And that's assuming that we'd be having to go through like internal resources to find information about those cards. If they're pretty cut and dry ones, it could be much quicker. There are some that we might have to rewrite completely, in which case it could take more time. But yeah, it was generally about an hour.
Very cool. And I want to make sure we can keep moving through them. So I'm going to check that one off. I love this question because at Guru, sometimes we joke about the bulk verify feature in Card Manager. And it's asking, how do you confirm people are effectively verifying their content rather than just clicking the verify button in order to like clear their queue out quickly? I believe, Nathan, that one was probably being asked for you. So I'll kick it back to you if you have any thoughts there. How do you know that they're actually updating that content?
That's a very good question. I think a huge part of that is trust. So like I'm very lucky to have a team that I can just count on for anything. And they've really done a great job just kind of owning this process. But there are ways to, for example, we had a change in our branding for one of our key features recently. And part of our verification was going through and actually updating our cards. So that was where keyword searching came. It was very handy for identifying like where cards, something might have been missed or something like that. So yeah.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. And I think, we don't want it to really catch up with anyone, but if content is just becoming out of date, but people are clicking verify, folks will start to reach out and be like, hey, this didn't make sense. And certainly we don't want that to happen. And I think that's where kind of the nature of this question is. But to Nathan's point, building that trust and making sure that folks are really on board, and Nathan put in so much work to get, from not knowing a lot about API to implementing this system, I think people I'm guessing, I don't put words in your mouth, Nathan, but I'm guessing your wonderful team was very appreciative and they want to probably, be good verifiers for you. So, okay, great. So the next one I think is probably going to be for Mary. Has anyone used Zapier to facilitate a Guru API automation? So actually that's for the group. And then Mary, maybe you can confirm. I think a webhook is the word for how to do that. Not sure.
Yeah, I think I can at least help a little bit. So Zapier has something called HTTP webhooks that you can use. So although Guru does not have a certified Zapier app as of yet, can't say anything, but as of yet, you can manually create triggers and webhooks in Zapier using our API HTTPS. So if you wanted to build something exactly what Nathan did with getting collection data, you could use that same collection endpoint to build that as a trigger. So that's how you can kind of hack us not having an app within Zapier today. And if you have more questions about that, we can pop into the community channel too to kind of really vet that out and your use case out to make sure you get it right, because it is complicated with the triggers and the actions and to make sure that you're doing it right. But yeah, we're here to help. We've done that for other customers too who had questions around Zapier, and we were able to help them come up with some quick Python code to make sure that it looks and is structured the way they want. So definitely can help there. That's an awesome use case.
Oh, I love that. And I love to open it up to the floor because I think the first part of the question is asking if anyone else has maybe tried to do this. And since we said we don't have that app on Zapier, but has anyone that's on the call maybe have had experience with this and maybe want to share? That's 7. That's my 7 seconds. If that answer does come up later and someone wants to share, please do it. Let's keep moving along. I love this so much. What has the feedback been on the custom weekly ping compared to the Guru automated Slack and email pings? Why weren't people responding to the Guru built pings? I believe this one is for Nathan.
Okay, so I'm going to reread this one here. So we have kind of two ways of doing this. So we actually do have a channel and a way of notifying within Slack when a Guru card is brought up for re-verification manually by a CSA. So we do use that for kind of spot checking individual cards. If someone is using a card, for example, and says, hey, like this info's bad, they can flag it and then our team jumps in. The weekly ping is basically a performance metrics. So they can see not only their collection score, but also like their ticket numbers, how much time they've spent making changes to help center or something like that. So it's a ping to say, hey, check out these metrics, and the collection score is part of those metrics.
Very cool. Appreciate that, Nathan. So we are coming up on 4:45 on the hour, depending on where you are. And I don't know how I didn't say this yet. I keep saying 45 on the hour, and typically I'm talking about East Coast and West Coast, but Nathan right now is in South Korea, where it's 3:30 or 3:45 in the morning. And he's traveling there, and he's kind of reversed his schedule to stay up at night to keep with East Coast hours, and then he sleeps during the day. So we're just like eternally grateful that he has taken time to do this all the way from South Korea, and the time change is so drastic there. For the next question, and like I said, we'll keep moving along for a couple more minutes, maybe go till 50. The next question was, how do I get my API token? And Mary, I'm going to click through here in the Guru app and just show where to get it in team settings. So I click my icon, team settings, and then over here on the left, under Guru Tools section, there's API access. And right here, I can generate my user token by clicking this button right here, select my user, and then I click generate token, and it'll appear right here in this box. That's generally how you do it. Mary, did I miss any other details there?
Nope, nailed it. If you don't have access to that tab, your admin will. So admins are only able to issue them. So you'd have to contact your admin.
Good point. I'm in my Guru Academy instance, which is kind of where I do fun tests and host the sessions like this. But in our Guru HQ, I'm not an admin, so I would probably have to hit them up for one. Cool. Okay, let's see. API token. And it says, getting events from list analytics endpoint. I have duplicated search rows, only field different result count. Is this the result for each collection?
That's a great question. The way our search runs, we run on Elasticsearch, and we also have a type ahead search functionality. So as you're typing, we start searching. So it looks like it's timestamped at the exact same time. And I'll slowly start typing my question and the search will start. So it may look like it's the exact same search with different types of results. And that's from the type ahead search. That's a great question, because that is very confusing. Yeah. Good job, Marcus. I had a feeling it was you. You're very deep into your API journey right now. So that makes sense.
Awesome. Very cool. Thank you for the question, Marcos. And Mary, thank you for that response. Let's knock out this last one, and then I'm going to give you guys a couple links so that we can make sure we're all up to speed on what's happening at Guru in the next month. But this last question says, I'm looking at building a public-facing knowledge portal and considering using the Guru API to pull cards to populate the articles. Is this a common use case? What do you think, Mary?
That's a great question. It is a common use case, and it totally depends on what the public-facing knowledge portal looks like for you, right? So our bread and butter here at Guru, as we say, we are a truly internal company knowledge. So we do not offer any type of turnkey service for turning it on to public-facing. We've seen customers integrate card articles into third-party help centers. And we've also seen customers build out portals, homemade portals, right? Without a third party. A popular website generating platform that we have suggested in the past is Jekyll. I can send out some more information on that as well in terms of what that workflow would look like. And then we also have some documentation on our developer site. Let me pull it up very quickly. Okay, I just linked it in the chat, but this is an example of how you would export Guru cards to third-party apps or websites. And it's basically just listing cards. So you get to, our biggest recommendation of people who want to do this is you silo what public-facing knowledge you want into a specific collection. That it's easier to manage that way. So it's not you picking card and card IDs from all different types of collections. And you run a poll on that endpoint to pull that collection and all the card details to then be published out. An example of someone that's doing that today is actually us and the developer site that you're using today. We use a tool called README. It's a third-party developer site for publishing documentation for engineers. We actually have, let me see if I can share this really quick because I think it's visually better. I'm a visual learner. So apologies, let me pull this up real quick. Bear with me. Okay, cool. So I'll share my screen. Oh, wait. Oh, thank you. Here we go. So we built this publishing tool for ourselves. So this is an example, and we didn't keep it in a collection because our engineers are cool like that. They built this within a day. They were able to keep this into a board group. And as you can see, this is the same structure that you would see on our developer site, right? Of our use cases, you get your API overview, your user token and collection, paging details, and it's in the same structure here as well. So the way we did this is we used markdown files from Guru cards to then be published into README's articles. And we created a script that runs this automatically. So it actually polls every 4 hours when we have updates or when we add new cards to then add those cards here into our README site. So here's an example of how we use our API to publish external facing knowledge. But if you have more detailed questions, everyone does it differently. Feel free to reach out in the Slack community channel too. Happy to help with that use case.
Awesome. Looks like that was Will's question. Thank you, Will, for answering that. And Mary, thanks for the context and the answer. So just to wrap up, I want to make sure that everyone knows what's going on in the next month or two here. The December 2020 deep dive is going to be on internal communications without interruptions. The link is in the chat. And I might ask Mary to throw that in there one more time so it's fresh for folks. And Kaylee Rajeski is actually going to be running that one. So we're really pumped. There's Kaylee. She just waved. And if you haven't joined the community on Slack, please do it. Check out the Guru API channel. We'll continue the conversation here. So I'll post the card in the announcements and in the API channel and make sure that we can continue the convo because these questions are so great. These sessions, they don't work without you. And so thank you so much for your participation, for asking questions, for your attention, for your interest. We appreciate it so much. And thanks for staying late after our time. Last thanks goes to Nathan from Airtable. Absolute stellar job telling us about his story using our API. And everyone, will see you in the community and next month in December. Take care.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Really appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Nathan. Thanks, MTS. Thanks, Marcos.